Alright, so fair warning up front. Sometimes I do vlogs where I do a lot and don't do a lot. Sometimes I have vlogs where I talk a lot or don't talk a lot. This is probably going to be one of those vlogs where I just talk a lot. Now, I'm an emotional guy, just in general. I think it comes with being an artistic person, but this is one of those days where I have to try and actively step in front of my emotions and just say, stop, go away, I need to get to work, because the last week has been an insane roller coaster and the weekend has been just really difficult. There have been a bunch of things that happened late last week and then over the weekend that is one of those things that I can't talk about in videos on the internet, but is, you know, very personal and difficult. But then beyond that, there's the stuff I can mention, which is our toddler has been extremely sick and throwing up. He's gotten a lot better, but now my wife is sick, so that's difficult. And then on top of that, unfortunately over the weekend, our cat Max was put down. He was given a week to live about a year ago. So I grieved then a little bit. Those of you who might remember back when I did the pets challenge of the month, that was part of my emotional venting and grieving process. But he hung in there and grabbed another year, you know. But he was struggling by the end, and we had to sort of put him out of his pain. So unfortunately that was difficult, and it was difficult for me because Max represented a part of my life where I was in a very different place to where I am now, and at a time where I had very few social outlets, friends, and no stability in my life. He was one of the things in my life, just that was an element of companionship. We loved each other in whatever way a cat can love a person, which probably isn't that much, but anyway. The point is, it's not been easy, and all of these things in combination have made it difficult now on Monday to be like, all right, time to get to work. And it's like I'm sort of swimming with a whole bunch of different emotions, and I need to try and push that out of the way. And I spent the last 6 hours judging Challenge of the Month entries, because that's my task for today, is to judge Challenge of the Month. I'm way behind. I finally finished judging it and I'm about to record the video, and it's just hit this point where it's just like, okay, that stuff has to step aside because the show must go on, so to speak, you know what I mean? I know in response to me saying all this stuff, a bunch of you will suggest I take some time off, and I understand the sentiment, and when I need it, I do take time off, and I don't feel like I need it to function or to you know, get to a better place. I feel like, in a way, getting to work, you know, can be a healthy distraction and also part of the healing process, and also vlogging like this can be part of the, I guess, it's a bit therapeutic, isn't it? I'm just sitting in a room by myself talking to a camera. But hey, I'm talking about feelings. Anyways, I feel like I'm on so many tangents at the moment. On top of all that stuff, unfortunately, when in my life I face loss, I tend to get a healthy whack of existential awareness, which is fantastic. I didn't talk about it much because I am naturally an optimist, and I'm very, like, I am naturally a very happy person, but stuff like that happens when someone or something you care about goes. It's hard to not become aware of the fragility of existence, which is a depressing phrase, but I think also a type of awareness that is healthy every now and then to let soak in a bit, you know? Anyways, so yeah, enjoy a little bit of that coming your way. Just remember that your life is temporary, and to not take it for granted, because one day you will die. Thank you, Jazza, for depressing everyone watching this. You're welcome. You're welcome. Great. Fantastic. We're all gonna die. I've not just been facing negative emotions though, and it does all balance out, and I've been feeling very grateful for all of the people who have put their time and talent and love into entering the Challenge of the Month. And I just was outside 10 minutes ago having a coffee just to sort of center myself before I come in here to record this vlog and then the video, and just standing outside Studio 2 and then getting that sort of realization that I'm standing in front of this gorgeous studio that you guys made possible. Like, stuff like that comes into the mix too, you know, and at the end of the day, that's what life is all about for me. It is ups and downs. The downs can be crappy, but they also make the ups meaningful, I think. So, there you go. That's the intro for today's vlog. Existentialism with Jazza. The point I'm trying to make is, the end of last week was crappy, and the weekend was even worse. But it's a fresh start, and it's time to let this stuff be what it is, process it, and move forward. Anyways, let's get things back on track. I do have a little bit of work left to do. There's about 2.5 hours left in the day, so I'm going to record the Challenge of the Month winners announcement video, and I'm just going to check up and catch up on some emails, but I won't get the video done. G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza, and this video is the showcase and the announcement for the winners to the September 2017 Challenge of the Month. I finished the recording. I have a very little hardware change that I thought some of you might be interested in. This is the camera I use. This is a GH5, a Lumix GH5, and normally it runs on batteries, but I actually got this little battery thing that plugs in and has a cord that comes out, and then you plug that into a PowerPoint, and it means that I don't have to constantly recharge batteries. I can just keep the camera plugged into a PowerPoint, and that's really cool. I've hated recharging batteries every day for the last 5 years. Here you go, you can see my recharging batteries. I got some other toys last week, both from online shopping and then when we were in Sydney. I got a nice big palette here and some palette knives, which is cool. I've always wanted both of those things. And I've got a GoPro mic because the onboard mic for the GoPro is crappy. In fact, I want to test this thing out, so might as well test it out in this vlog because there's not much else happening in this vlog. Actually, there's a lot happening in this vlog. I'm just trying to distract from all that stuff. Alright, this is just a little sound check of the GoPro mic, which I'm just using now. So this is the default onboard GoPro mic. So you can hear that compared to nothing. Compared to nothing. Because it has the wrong port. And I wasted... How much did I waste? Like 30 bucks. I mean, I still have this thing. This is the actual mic with the mic jack. But this is supposed to be the converter, but it's not USB-C. So it must be for the old GoPro. Great. I got the wrong GoPro mic adapter and we're all gonna die. What a fantastic Monday this has been. Alright, I'm gonna wrap up with the question of the day. BlaneBoy39 says, do you know the YouTube channel Vex? If so, can you pretty please do a collab? Yes, we're already in talks and we're going to organise something together. I'm not 100% sure when it's going to happen or what exactly it'll be, but he's someone I've watched for a long time and I don't know why we haven't collabed. I love his stuff, but yeah, we're going to make it happen, so that should be cool. Anyways, that sort of wraps up the vlog. I'm sorry for the tone of today's vlog. I have a question for you guys. I may end up rambling quite a lot to try and to get to the question because it's sort of something I haven't ever really covered before or asked or done anything about. So I'll get to the point. Anyway, this is gonna sound a little out of the blue and random and sort of totally unrelated to pretty much anything I've talked about in the vlog so far, but some of you may have heard of a technology that Google has been working on called VR 180. So I'm sure most of you have heard of 360 video, which is where either on your phone or, you know, in your VR mobile goggles or whatever, you can look around at a spherical video and it makes you feel like you're there. Well, I've never been a fan of 360 videos. I tend to feel like there's too much you can't see. I tend to think the image quality is crappy and it doesn't feel very rich and in-depth, and as a creator, it's not something I want to make content with. The difference is, as you might imagine, 360 video is spherical, VR 180 is like a half sphere. So essentially, it's everything in your forward peripheral vision. You can look around, you put on your VR goggles. The difference is it solves a bunch of problems for both consumers and creators. For consumers, if you're not watching it in VR goggles, you don't have to move your phone around. It just crops it into a video and you can just watch it like a normal person. You may not even realize it's a VR 180 video until you put on the goggles or whatever, right? So that's cool because it means if you stream in VR 180, you know, 90% of the people or more who are going to watch the stream who won't be watching it in a VR headset or mobile VR headset won't have to put it in a VR headset. They can just watch it like normal, right? Another problem problem it solves is the resolution or the image quality. 360 video is very stretched out, but essentially you get the same pixel density of 360 but in half the space, meaning that in that VR 180 video it's much clearer quality, and then beyond that, if you watch it in a mobile headset, it's a stereoscopic image, meaning that the difference between what you see in either eye is actually, you know, going to allow your brain to create some depth perception. So I'm going to flash some images up on the screen to show you what I mean. The first is a screenshot of Casey Neistat in a 360 video, and if you notice, if you zoom in or have a look closely at the trees in relation to his body in both eyes, they're exactly the same. However, in this screenshot, this is a screenshot of a VR 180 video in the stereoscopic view. You can see that this person on the left eye is looking off slightly to the right, whereas in the right eye, they're looking directly at you. If you hold this finger in front of you and you like close your eyes one at a time, you'll see that your finger moves. So that's stereoscopic imagery, and that's what's happening in VR 180. This is a really, really long intro to what I said was a question, so I'm going to try and bring this all together now. The point is, I'm going to try and get the hardware needed to be able to make VR 180 videos, which I could use for streams, which I could use for various content creation. I can't see much actual content I would use it for as far as making, you know, edited videos, but for streams I think they could be really cool. But that's where the question comes in, right? So the only platform I know that will support VR 180 streaming is YouTube, because they invented the format and the hardware. So that's fine. I do a lot of stuff on YouTube and I would happily stream on YouTube, but the problem is I tend to find that when people stream on YouTube, there's a right and a wrong way to stream on YouTube. And if people stream the wrong way on YouTube, they tend to lose traction or frustrate their audience, and I don't want to do that. So I'm wondering what you think would work for you as a viewer as far as if I did some VR 180 streaming. I worry about it being too different or a little out of place for the people on the main channel if I start to do once every few weeks do a VR 180 stream, perhaps at the same time as doing a Twitch stream. If I had a VR 180 stream, people could either watch the video format on Twitch or actually put on a headset on the YouTube stream and be present in my office while I'm doing art, and you know, the spatial sense of presence is actually uncanny and really cool. So I feel like it could add a lot of value and be really fun for people, but I also worry about it sort of being confusing or a little out of place. So I could also potentially instead do the VR 180 streams on the daily Jazza channel. Again, I worry about confusing or leading people away, so you know, let me know your thoughts on that. But I was thinking maybe the best way to test out the waters before doing regular VR 180 streams, which I don't think I would jump into immediately because it's a very new concept for people, is the idea of doing a VR 180 stream when I set up my Live Cube, my big green screen VR cube, and set it up in the room when I'm doing VR filming, so you guys can be in the room and see me in the cube making VR, and I'll set up the TV so you can see what's happening in VR. So that way, whether you're watching it on your phone without a headset or you're putting on the goggles and you're entering my studio, you can see both reality and virtual reality while you're in virtual reality or just on your phone. So that's the concept I think could be really cool, essentially inviting you into the whole VR creation process, and I thought it would be fitting because it's VR in VR in VR. I'm excited about this conceptually, and I'm sorry to bombard you with all this crap if you're not interested in the whole virtual reality thing. But for those of you who have followed my content for any period of time, you know I'm super excited about high-tier VR, like the Vive in particular, but there hasn't been any place for the low-end VR on my channel, because I'm not a believer in 360 video, and most of the other mobile VR stuff is kind of crappy. But VR 180 is the thing for me where I'm like, oh, this makes sense. And this I can do, and this I can use, and this I think you might find really cool. Because any VR 180 videos I've watched, I'm like, this is cool, right? So if you actually have a mobile VR headset, go look up VR 180 videos. I'll link to a few in the description that I can recommend to sort of show off how it feels and how it's cool and show that stereoscopic imagery. Check them out, put on the headset, and get a sense of the depth, and then imagine watching me in the studio in VR or in here, and just give me a feedback. Does it feel a bit too early, a bit too out of place? Or does it feel like, oh yeah, that'd be cool, maybe if it was just once in a while? What context in which you see these streams popping up would it be a great thing? And in what situation do you think more people would be a bit annoyed? You know, what length of streams should I consider doing, and what format, and on what channels? really interested in your feedback. It's really untreaded territory. I don't have the hardware yet and I haven't ever done it, but I'm really interested. So tell me your thoughts. That was a really random, over-the-top tangent from a really random, over-the-top intro, from super emotional to randomly niche and technical. Don't be confused, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is that we're all gonna die. So I bring you crashing down to earth with me. There is one last thing I want to update you guys on, and that is the Indiegogo perks. So we've delivered a majority of the rewards. We've sent out a lot of stuff. We're going to do another round of postage for prints for the stragglers, but we've gotten most of it out there. And as far as other rewards, we've done the one-on-one calls, and we've done a bunch of other stuff. But the things remaining are the custom art, the custom videos, and the Wall of Honor names on the Wall of Honor. So I just wanted to let you know that we're still working on perks, but it's going to slow down because this time of year is pretty hectic. So realistically, I'm going to be able to deliver some of the custom art and maybe one or two of the videos in the coming months, but I think the Wall of Honor may have to wait till the new year, just because that's going to be a few solid days work and we don't have any solid days free. So I appreciate your patience, but I promise you it's coming, and we haven't forgotten, and we know how much we owe you guys and appreciate you. So just know that we haven't forgotten you, and we're going to get around to all this stuff as soon as we can. Anyway, that does it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your patience as I've dealt with my stuff, and thanks for being here with me as I deal with it. I guess there are a few things I'm interested to see your response to in the comments, both to existential crises and to questions relating to virtual reality or whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.